Bill Cunningham, let's start with you. Ron DeSantis, obviously the big story, jumping in the race this week. He kind of got some grief for how it all went down there, not only the first night, but sort of right out the gates. Big deal or no, in your mind?
You know, a year and a half before the election, maybe, 4 or 5 months before a serious debate, and maybe a year before a lot of the primaries, it's not a big deal because the news cycle will turn 1,000 times between now and then. If these kind of events really mattered, I think President Hillary Clinton or President Bob Dole or President Jeb Bush would be in office, in fact, putting together their presidential library. So this early on, there's so much to do, so much going on. Even a big-time liberal like Bill Press would have to agree that this is not a big deal, except in the minds of the New York Times.
Press, would you agree?
Hell no. First of all, I have to laugh. I used to do a radio show in Los Angeles called The Dueling Bills, and here we are.
Here we are, yeah.
With the Dueling Bills. I think it's a big deal. As somebody called it, I think it's a display of electile dysfunction on the part of Ron DeSantis. First impressions are important. And I think about Howard Dean. Look what happened to him in Iowa after the scream. And why I think this is important for Ron DeSantis. Sure, Bill's right. I mean, he's got a lot of time. He can recover. But his whole pitch is, I'm the competent governor. I'm the guy who can get things done. Competence. If there was ever a display of incompetence on the national level, it was Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk. A big mistake to do it on Twitter. He would have had $3 million if he had done it on, let's just mention, some other network. And $3 million.
Everyone would have covered it. And he would have got a huge audience if he had done it on cable.
So I think it's a deal. I think it's a big deal.
Press, I want to stay with you
Blake,
for a second.
I would say this, that
go for it.
In the state of Florida, those who know him best, Ron DeSantis, love him the most. To be running for that position against a previous Florida governor, and those who understand him politically know he rolls with the punches. The guy's bright, Harvard and Yale, which is a mistake, but nonetheless. And you're going to have these mistakes. Elon Musk is responsible for Twitter at this point, and not Ron DeSantis. Now, there should have been pictures of Press Kid. Bill Press is an old-time politician from California who would like to see something in writing instead of using Twitter to announce this. But at the end of the day, people aren't going to remember this because other things will happen, including the fact I'm willing to bet Bill Press right now, a hot fudge sundae, that Joe Biden will not be the nominee of the Democrat Party next year. In March, I will not seek nor will I accept a nomination another term as your president. Biden's not even going to be running, and by that point, the Trumpster is going to have multiple federal, state indictments against him. The cycle's going to change a lot, and DeSantis may look a lot better in about 8 months than he does right now. But I have hope and faith that Ron DeSantis will prevail as the Republican nominee and beat Gavin Newsom for the presidency in November of 2024.
Blake, may I just say, this is a typical DeSantis supporter. Can't defend DeSantis, so he's going to attack Joe Biden and try to change the subject. Let's stick to what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Republican primary. I remember Jeb Bush. He was the hot ticket. I remember Scott Walker. He was the hot ticket. I think Ron DeSantis could end up being the replay of Scott Walker and Jeb Bush, and there are a lot of other candidates out there. Tim Scott, for one, who is very attractive and could make Ron DeSantis history pretty soon.
Hey, Press, I want to ask you.
I love that guy. I mean, if I had a dream ticket other than the Trumpster, it'd be someone like Senator Tim Scott. It would be a Kristi Noem, something fresh and different. And if somehow the mental degradation of the current president continues, I see a 1960s repeat where an old guy is going to be beaten. It was perceived that Nixon and Eisenhower needed a real fresh, and John F. Kennedy arose. And I'm not sure that Ron DeSantis is John F. Kennedy, but if you take DeSantis and Tim Scott, assuming the Trumpster can't get out of his own way, and the main reason the Trumpster is doing what he's doing, Bill Press, he gets $18 to $20 million a month. The devotees are making him rich. He's going to stay involved. And when your buddy gets indicted in Fulton County, gets indicted by the feds, all hell's going to break loose. And then more money is going to flow into the Trumpsters' treasury. And so I look forward to the day that Bill Press pays off that hot fudge sundae bet to the great American, and Joe Biden will not be the nominee of the Democratic Party.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.